She the final form of ultimate yapper. I got an AI again. Jay Fisher.
Bob the Builder is supposed to be this cat that is
this section, the men have agreed that they are going to ask each other questions. Captain Tazariak is going to go first. He's going to ask Mike. He's going to ask Mike questions within a 10-minute span. They've agreed that the questions cannot go any longer than 1 minute, and the response has to be within 1 minute. We can't spend 5 minutes on asking a question or 5 minutes responding. So the men have agreed to take a maximum of 1 minute to ask the questions, and it would be a maximum of 1 minute to respond. Captain Tazariak was going to go first. He's going to ask Mike a series of questions for 10 minutes, and then Mike is going to go back. So, gentlemen, like I told you before, you guys don't need me to babysit you guys. You guys do what you do. Just stay within the frame that we put together before the conversation, and we'll be good to go. So I'm going to back out, and you guys do your thing.
Can y'all hear me?
Hold on, I'm in.
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay, so Mike, basically you brought out Ephesians, just to confirm, this ain't really a question, just to make sure, Ephesians 3:3 with the revelation made by the mystery, right?
Absolutely.
And so that mystery was that the Gentiles should be fellow heirs, right?
That's right.
So was there ever a time that Israelites would be not called the children of God?
Yeah, whenever they disobey.
No,
Absolutely.
I mean, not just when they disobey, but is there a scripture that says you would not be God's people?
Yeah, absolutely. In Hosea, God talked about casting them away when, and he used Hosea and Gomer as an example when she left Hosea, but that God would bring them back. But remember, that was made known. That was in the story of Hosea. Absolutely.
And what would those people that are cut off, what would they be? Like, what would they call themselves?
Oh, no, my God, that's your God.
Well, the scripture.
Nigga, I have no choice. You ain't guarding the nigga.
Never called Israelites Gentiles. They would be backsliding Israel. They would be disobedient Israel.
Nigga, my guy is right behind you.
Never called Israel Gentiles.
Okay. So now that leads me. So now just remember, everybody. Mike said that the scriptures say Israel would never be called Gentiles. Well, even though I read the definition of Gentile in the John DeVan Bible Dictionary that said usually a non-Israelite, but there are instances where Gentiles are referred to as Israelites. But Mike just said they would never be called Israelites. Just want that.
Can I clarify something real quick? So don't get me wrong. The name Gentile, especially in the Old Testament, the goy, means nation. So if you mean in the sense of them being a nation, absolutely.
No, I'm talking about the literal word Gentile being applied in meaning in Israelite. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
If it's referring to them, the nation, and sometimes the word goy is used to say the goy of Israel, but they are the goy of the nation
that's not what I'm saying.
of Israel.
Just
right.
To be
well,
clear.
no, they did not call. They lived as goyim, but they were not.
Right. I understand. So I just want everybody to understand. So that's why now I understand why when Mike sees Gentiles in Ephesians 3. So I'm going to show you the river of the Bible. So we're going to go to Romans, the 9th chapter.
Tazariak.
Yeah.
It's a time of questions. So if you have to pose a question.
No, I am. I'm gonna. I'm going. The
Okay.
scripture is the question. I'm with you. The scripture is definitely the question. So I asked them questions. He answered the questions, and so I'm going to the scripture to ask him a question on the scripture. All right. All right. No sweat. So in Romans the 9th chapter, and 24 and 25, I'm going to read, and I want you to tell me who are these people. Romans 9 and 24 says, even us whom he have called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles. Who are the Gentiles in that verse?
Now, the Gentiles in this verse is talking about non-ethnic
When they got
Israelites.
93 dunking,
And I know where you're going, but go ahead.
Fucking put up a layup.
In verse 5 it says, as he also saith in OC, I will call them my people, which were not my people, and her beloved, which were not my beloved. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you said these Gentiles are non-Israelites.
In Romans chapter number 9, Paul is applying this verse to non-Israelites. And I can show that.
Can you prove that?
Absolutely. All we got to do is keep reading. Read on down, verse number 31.
Okay.
But Israel, not the southern kingdom, Israel. Well, hold on. Just jump back to verse 30. What shall we say then?
Right.
That
When you throw it to a guy with a nigga
who
on
did
it.
not pursue righteousness have attained to righteousness, even the righteousness of faith. Now notice, he's still calling them Gentiles. I just want to
And
make
these
that
are
clear.
still non-Israelites.
These are non-Israelites. But verse 31, he says, but Israel. Paul makes the distinction between the Gentiles in verse 30 and Israel in verse number 31.
To the moderator real fast, just so I don't change any rules. I can't rebut his question, right? I can only ask questions, right?
Yeah, you can only ask. I mean, you can formulate your question. Let me pause the time so it can be fair.
Yeah, I just want to understand.
So you can formulate your question as a rebuttal. I guess I'm not trying to babysit you guys. You guys are grown men.
I just
but
don't want to violate
what I'm
the
trying to
rules of the,
avoid
platform.
is for you to go on 15 minutes preaching a sermon.
No,
and then,
I won't do that. I definitely won't do that.
Right,
I just don't want to.
Formulate it in a way that is a question and try to keep it within a minute. And Mike, when you respond, try to keep it also within a minute so it can be fair. So let me go ahead and I'm going to start your time up again. I'm going to add about 10 more seconds because I didn't stop it. So go ahead, Cesario.
I guess I got to fucking jump.
Okay, so now who did he
love
quote
this shit, bro.
in 25?
This incomplete ass motherfucking.
In Romans 9 and 25.
Dribble
Who did he
pull
quote?
up.
Quoted Hosea.
And who was Hosea talking about?
Hosea was addressing this to Israel.
And Israel were the people that would no longer be his people.
Yes.
So where are those people at that would be called the children of God again?
In verse number 30. Verse number 30, and then they also are in Romans
Well,
chapter
verse number 30 has the word Gentiles in it.
I'm sorry,
You
verse
said-
31, where it says, but Israel. See, he's clear about this.
So
and
where is
in
a
verse
Everybody getting the schmeed.
where is a previous prophecy
Oh,
that
shit.
said other nations which have not followed after righteousness have attained righteousness even after the righteousness which is of faith? Righteousness is keeping the law, so where are the other nations having that? Since you're saying that these Gentiles are not Israelites.
Well, first of all, righteousness isn't keeping the law because remember, Israel pursued the law of righteousness. They had not attained because they didn't seek it by faith, but they sought it by the works
It's
of the law.
clearly in 31 it says they follow after the law of righteousness, have not
Gets it
attained
back.
to the law.
Shoots
of
on my face
righteousness.
again.
Meaning they was trying to be righteous according to the law, but was breaking the law. So righteousness is keeping the law. So show me where the other nations were given the law, because Psalms 147, 19 and 20 says he didn't give the law to another nation to even attempt to do that. So for you to say that these Gentiles are not
every time I play
Israelites,
big man,
you
I'm
would have to
doing this shit
prove
by
that
my
they had a
fucking
law
self.
to even attempt to follow from God.
Oh yeah, I got you there. That's absolutely. Watch this. Verse number 25 in Romans chapter number 2.
I'm getting fucking double triple team
Alright,
with
Where
shit.
you at? I just want to follow.
Let me see here. Romans chapter number 2, same book, right? Verse 25. For
y'all
circumcision
enjoy this.
is indeed profitable if you keep the law. But if you are a breaker of the law, your circumcision has become uncircumcision. Therefore, if an uncircumcised man keeps the righteous requirements of the law, uncircumcised man, will not his uncircumcision, we know this is talking about Gentiles, be counted as circumcision? And will not the physically uncircumcised, if he fulfills the law, judge you, who even with your written code and circumcision are a transgressor of the law? We know that all 12 tribes were given the written law. Verse 28, and I hurry this up here. For he is not a Jew who is one outwardly, nor is circumcision that which is outward in the flesh, but he is a Jew who is one inwardly. And circumcision is that of the heart, in spirit, not in the letter, whose praise is not from me,
but the circumcision of the heart was only given to Israel. Even for them, in that verse, that's not referring to a non-Israelite keeping the law. That's a man cut off from the nation keeping the law. So again, my question is, you would have to show me when the other nations were even given the law. Like to even keep the law, you would have to know it. You can't, it ain't this is magic where you can have the laws of God without knowing what the laws of God are being taught the laws of God. No problem. So if Psalms 147, 19 and 20 says he have not dealt so, and for his law they have not known him, you would have to show me where God gave them his law. So
no, that's a non sequitur. It does not follow that because God did not give them.
It does. That's the criteria.
Wait a minute. I'm gonna prove something real quick. It because God did not give them a law, written law. Because watch
God
this.
didn't give them any law.
Hold on. Watch this. Watch this. Romans chapter number 1. We're gonna let this Bible talk right quick.
Please do.
Right. Watch this. Romans chapter number 1. Watch this. Verse number 18 says, the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness. Verse 18. The wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who suppress the truth in unrighteousness. Watch this. Because what may be known of God is manifest in them. For God has shown it to them. Verse 20. For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made. So now the audience that's being talked to in Romans, the 1st chapter, you find that in verse 7. It says, to all that be in Rome, beloved of God, cross Christ to be called saints. I've already shown who the saints are. And it says, grace to you. It says, grace to you and peace to God, our Father. So the saints are the Israelites. So all you're proving is that it's talking to it. That's what the scriptures say. The scriptures say the saints are Israelites. Psalms 50 and 5, Exodus 24. It only calls its saints Israelites. The scripture does call Israelites saints.
So if you want to finish up with a question, I'm not sure.
Well, I just wanted to just be known. Hosea, the 1st chapter, is talking about Israel as Gentiles. He said Gentiles are not Israelites, even though in the Bible dictionary and in the scriptures it says otherwise. So he has not proven his point.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, so Tazariak, that was your 10 minutes asking Mike questions. Mike, now you have 10 minutes. Again, gentlemen, remember, you have about a minute to ask a question, and about a minute to respond. You guys were gracious enough to let each other respond. At last day, you guys got a little heated, but that's for the next round. The next round is the heavyweight title fight. Right now, this is the build-up. So, all right, so I'll let you guys duke it out in a little bit, but this time try to keep it respectful and give each other time to respond. Mike, your 10 minutes are about to begin.
And before it goes, if like I think the way I was looking at it, because I was asking the questions, I didn't want to waste my time. So for Mike, if you cut me off, I won't be offended by that. If
it's all good, no problem. Yeah.
But I will, and I'll cut him off. All right, Mike. You got 10 minutes, my man. You guys go ahead.
All right, Cap. In Acts chapter number 2, it says, therefore let all the house of Israel know assuredly. Let all the house of Israel know. Do you agree that all the house... Verse 36. I'm sorry. Acts 2, verse 36, where it says, therefore let all the house of Israel know assuredly that God has made this Jesus whom you crucified, both Lord and Christ. Do you agree that all the house of Israel is all 12 tribes?
All the house of Israel could be all 12 tribes, or it could be talking about the northern kingdom, depending on context. So if I look up a couple verses above here, When it says, "Ye men of Israel, hear these words," that's all. That's pertaining for us. When we read this later on, we know that this is only pertaining to Israel. When it talks about whosoever shall call in the name of the Lord shall be saved, ye men of Israel hear these words. It doesn't say everybody hear these words.
Very good. So he's talking to Israel, right? We got the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Now, if Peter is addressing this audience in Acts chapter number 2, and there's no secret in Peter's mind that God is bringing salvation. Plug up my computer. Look like it's getting ready to die. Hold on one second.
Pause this time so he can get his.
I'm sorry. Just glanced over at my computer battery and it's about to die. All right, but okay, I'm good now. Thank you.
No problem.
If Peter knows that salvation has been given not just to Jews, but also to the northern tribes, what was the purpose of the vision in Acts chapter number 10?
Excellent question. The purpose of the vision, you find that when Peter says, "I perceive that the Most High is no respecter of persons," because Peter had an issue initially going to non-Israelites or Gentiles, as the Bible calls them in certain contexts. That's why Paul withstood him to his face, because Peter would eat with the other nations, but when he would eat with Israelites. That was in Galatia, Cappadocia. Even when you read Galatia, when you read the beginnings of the verses of the epistles or the letters, it tell you who he's talking to. So Galatians 1 says, "And all the brethren which are with me unto the churches at Galatia." So every letter is written to a specific individual. That's why they call them epistles. So when Paul withstood Peter, he's withstanding Peter because these Israelites are allowed to be coming back. Like as you brought up House of Israel, you want to make it seem like everybody just called themselves Israel. They did not. They called themselves by the lands that they were in. So they would call themselves Galatians or Ephesians, Corinthians, XYZ like that. So that's why Peter needed that vision, and that's why
Let me. I'm going to hurt. I got
no
you.
problem.
I want to make sure I get some questions here. But remember, Peter didn't have a problem with it in Acts chapter number 2. He said all the house of Israel, and then in Acts chapter 10, and then here's a question. Peter is getting something that he didn't know before. It says, "I perceive." See, this has reference to now I'm coming into an understanding of something that I didn't have before.
Exactly.
I perceive God shows no partiality. Now, Acts 15 was after this when he shunned the Gentiles. So the vision was before he shunned the Gentiles in Acts chapter number 15.
Mike, ask a question.
So the question is, how can you say that this was taught, that Peter needed a revelation
when you read
to save the
was
people?
There a verse specifically in Acts? Was there a verse specifically in Acts 15? I just want to make sure I understand it correctly.
Well, no. I'm quoting Galatians where you quoted where Peter shunned the Gentiles. Right? Where Peter shunned the Gentiles in Galatians. That's the backdrop of Galatians, is Acts 15. So that's what I said, Acts 15.
Oh, okay, I got you.
But what I'm saying is Acts chapter number 10 is when Peter gets this revelation. Obviously, in Acts chapter, in Galatia, he was still struggling. So again, he's been preaching to Israelites for the first 10 chapters. How can you say that this is talking about Israelites?
Because he says it's talking about Israelites. After he says, "I perceive that the Most High is not a respecter of persons," in verse 36 in Acts 10, it says, "The word which God sent unto the children of Israel, preaching peace by Yahushua Mashiach, he is Lord of all." So Peter had that issue. Like Peter had a struggle. It wasn't a big deal. So he see them Israelites doing things unseemly from what the Gentiles is following after, and he struggled with it. And that's why the Lord gave him that vision, and he didn't struggle no more. That's why in Acts 15 and 17, it says that the residue of men might seek after the Lord, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called. His name is only on the nation of Israel. Isaiah 45:4, "For Jacob my servant's sake and Israel mine elect, I have even called thee by name." So even the Gentiles in 15 and 17 is Israel. That's why it clearly says, "Upon whom my name is called." And that's for us. If any of us ever get confused as to who these Gentiles are, it's upon whom my name is called. So find out if that Gentile is an Israelite or what his background is. And if he's an Israelite that's following the customs of another nation, that belongs to the Lord. That's what the scriptures say. The scriptures say upon whom my name is called. It don't say upon other nations. You have to be called by the Lord to be his.
Daria, okay. Yeah, just you were going a little extended there.
Oh, just stop. Oh, that's why I said you could interrupt. That's why I said, Mike, just interrupt me if I'm going long. I won't be offended by that. You know, when you get to talking, it can happen. I apologize for that.
It's all good.
Man,
all right. So again, you going back to the old covenant when the revelation wasn't made known. So in Psalms chapter number 87, let me just go somewhere else real quick. Watch verse number 4. I will make mention of Rahab and Babylon. For those who know me, behold, Philistia and Tyre with Ethiopia. This one was born there. And of Zion it will be said, this one, and that one was born in her. And the Most High himself shall establish her. The Lord will record when he registers the peoples. This one was born there. How can you, is this talking about the Israelites or is this talking about Rahab?
Talking about Rahab, the one that helped Joshua, right? So what I first want to say is I didn't go into no hole. I read Acts the 15th chapter upon whom my name is called. And Rahab being mentioned for what she did is no different than when Christ gave that blessing to that woman's daughter. I never said a nation can't get a blessing. I never said that. I even gave the scripture in Genesis 17th chapter when Ishmael was blessed. You read the scripture that all nations shall be blessed.
Okay.
But it also
all right,
okay.
But look here. It's saying register with his peoples. This one is born there. A person, so what this is talking about is citizenship. So she will have citizenship, as I already read in Ephesians, fellow heir, entitled to the same privileges and blessings. So
no nation has the same rank as us. There's a class system. You have first class citizens, you have second class citizens. So if you're asking me if other nations can live amongst us, absolutely. They lived amongst us in Israel as second class citizens. So there's rules that apply to non-Israelites that don't apply to Israelites. Like you can charge non-Israelites usury, you can't charge an Israelite usury. If an animal dies of itself, you can give that to a non-Israelite. You can't give that to an Israelite because it's a class system. We're better than them. The Israelites are above all nations. The other nations will flourish being under us. But again, the covenant or salvation, which is what we're talking about, is not given to anyone but Israel. That's why you see House of Judah, House of Israel.
Are Gentiles in sin?
2 minutes, Mike.
Are Gentiles in sin? Yes or no?
If you're talking about Israelites, yes.
No. I'm not talking about Israelites. I'm talking about real Gentiles.
Yeah, every Gentile, like take the Egyptians that the Lord destroyed. He destroyed them because of their idols. If we take, the Lord does whatever He wants. If they not following, no one is following.
So they are in sin.
I wouldn't say in sin like breaking a commandment sin, because
was idolatry a commandment?
Yes, idolatry was a commandment.
And He did judge Egypt for idolatry, right?
He raised Egypt up, as the scriptures say. He raised Egypt up to show His power. Right. It doesn't say.
That's why He raised her up. I'm talking about why He brought her down. Did he judge Egypt for idolatry?
The scripture don't say He judged them for idolatry. The scripture say, for this same purpose I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee. That's Romans the 9th chapter. That's what the scriptures say.
No, the scripture does in Exodus clearly say that Israel was judged for her idolatry.
Israel, yes.
No, I'm sorry. Egypt. He judged Egypt for their idolatry. That's Bible.
Yeah, if you can show me that, but I know that no problem. I know when it talks about in the story of Exodus, it's when the Pharaoh rose up that knew not Jacob, and they started killing the firstborn. And then the Lord came in and destroyed them.
All right, gentlemen. I'm gonna let Mike get that scripture, and to Zariak, I'll let you answer that question, and then we can do that section. But Mike, if you can get that scripture, and to Zariak, you can answer the question.
Okay, no sweat. Yeah, so yeah. Well, I think I pretty much answered that. Let's see if you want to show the scripture. That's fine. Now, of course, Egypt was doing idolatry, just like the other nations. When you go in the book of Joshua and you go to Judges, The Lord said he left the other nations round about us to see if we would follow after them or serve him. So the other nations are doing all type of abominable acts, but they were never given instruction to not do them. So when we say in idolatry, we saying that because we have the knowledge of idolatry. That's our knowledge. To them, like you take somebody with a Christmas tree in their house that don't know that that's idol worship. To them, they just celebrate Christmas.
1 second. All right, Mike, did you are you satisfied with that?
Let's see here. Well, he admitted that they were doing idolatry. So
but I also admitted that they're doing it by our understanding of that. To them, there's nothing wrong
that's not
with what they worship.
The scripture doesn't say that.
All right.
Let's see if I
You
can
guys
find
can
it
have
for you.
that conversation now. All right, so that does it for 10-minute sessions. And you guys gonna ask each other questions. Now this 15 minutes is a kind of a back and forth kind of thing, respectfully. Again, try to answer each other's questions, try to stay on topic. You guys chose to have it this way. It's kind of like a free form 15 minutes.
Looking up the word
so
idol
I'm gonna
too,
get
right?
off here and you guys do what you do.
Okay.
All right, let me go ahead and set up the clock.
I was looking up that
15
word
minutes.
idol and idolatry to see if I could help you find that scripture. I didn't see
Well,
it.
I got it.
Okay, no sweat.
All right, 15 minutes, gentlemen.
No problem. Do you want to go first, Mike?
I can.
Okay, no
Right.
sweat.
Now watch what this says here.
Okay.
In Exodus chapter number 12,
There we
it says,
go.
"For I will pass through the land of Egypt on that night, and will strike the
What verse are
firstborn
you
of
at?
the land."
I'm sorry. I always ask for verse just so I can go
I'm
there.
so
with you.
sorry.
No, no
Exodus
big deal.
chapter 12, verse number 12.
Okay.
It says, "I will pass through the land of Egypt on that night, and will strike all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment." So it's clear that he's talking about judging them
But you
for
said
their.
that he destroyed them for idol worship. That's not why he destroyed them. That's not why he destroyed them. In Exodus 11 and 7, it says, but against any when the last plague came, Exodus 11 and 5, it says, "And all the firstborn of the land of Egypt shall die, the firstborn of Pharaoh that sitteth upon the throne, even the firstborn of maidservant that is behind the mill. And there shall be a great cry throughout the land of Egypt." I'm just skipping for time's sake. Verse
Right.
7. "But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know that the Lord put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel." It's because of the Egyptians killing the firstborn. And
Well,
putting
certainly that was part of it as
right,
well.
but it don't say that because of Egyptians idol worship. You made the statement that said
Numbers chapter number 33, verse number
No
4.
problem.
"For the Egyptians were bearing all their firstborn,
What
whom
verse
the
you-
Lord killed." Verse 4.
I'm
Numbers
sorry.
33, 4. "For the Egyptians were bearing all their firstborn, whom the Lord had killed among them, also on their gods." Watch this. "The Lord executed judgments." He's judging them for their idolatry. It's clear.
It doesn't say he's just saying that he beat their gods. It's not saying
No,
that
no,
he
no.
destroyed them.
What's a
Like,
judgment? What is a judgment?
a judgment is a punishment.
A punish, so you got to do something wrong to be punished. Am I right?
And what did they do wrong? It wasn't the gods, it's what they did to the children of Israel. That's why Romans 9.
Well, why mention the gods? Why he says also on their gods the Lord executed
because
judgment.
because that's what Egypt put their strength in. When Moses came, remember when Moses came, he would put this. They made the snake. He made the snake. They did a plague. They was trying to match plague for plague. So they was putting faith in their gods. But it doesn't say because of their gods. It says, and matter of fact, in Exodus, the 2nd chapter, I can give it even plain. I don't know why I didn't do this first. In Exodus 2 and 23, it says, "And it came to pass in the process of the time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of bondage, and their cry came up to the Most High by reason of bondage. And God heard their groaning and remembered his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And God looked upon the children of Israel and had respect unto them." That's when Moses comes into play. That's when Moses comes back.
Well, it's no doubt. I think I agree with you that God was casting them out and judging them for their harsh treatment of Israel. That's not in question. So you and I both agree there. But I'm here to let you know.
But adding the idol part that's not specific enough. When we can show more scriptures as to what they did to Israel as a nation, that's why they got destroyed. It's not because of the idols Egypt had, because they had the idols before Israel went into Egypt.
Remember when God before Israel even got in there, and God told Abraham, he said, the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. Right? Right, I got what you're saying, but here's what I'm trying to share with you, because
right after this Madden game, I had to get my brain off that 2K for a little bit.
Sins, right? So
switch
on the idols in Egypt, I think I proved
83
when it said judgments upon the gods. But now, watch this: the iniquity of the Amorites was not yet full. So they weren't being judged for any
majestic and peaceful, this planet, unlike the final days